It's no surprise that addiction wreaks havoc and causes destruction in life. Sometimes individuals who abuse alcohol or drugs fail to perceive just how their lives are being affected. Too much of anything is bad for you. Now imagine that you are using drugs or alcohol every day and your body is left to try its best to handle it. Sometimes overdose happens rather quickly and some people don't get a chance to come back from that. But over the long run, addiction can hurt your health in so many ways it is astounding. Addiction destroys your relationships. Those suffering from addiction problems have a 50% higher risk of divorce. In the realm of marriage and significant others, addiction can also lead to infidelity. Overall, a third of addicts eventually become estranged from their families as they break their trust and burn bridges. Drug abuse is also involved in almost 80% of domestic violence cases. Addiction is a disease that doesn't only affect the user but has a profound ripple effect on family and friends. Depending on what your addiction happens to be, you could spend tens of thousands of dollars a year on keeping up with it. Most people who use heroin spend over $50,000 a year. Those who use methamphetamine often spend over $30,000, and those who drink often spend over $7,000 a year. Because of the high price that comes along with addiction, you could end up not having a home due to your inability to pay your basic living expenses. The truth is, after a while, the drugs become a necessity and become a priority over everything else. Not to mention the amount of money that you may need to pay for detox, rehabs, and medical bills as a result of trying to get help for the damage done. Number 4 is wasted time and energy. Many people in active addiction have reported that they wish that they would have stopped sooner because they missed out on a lot of important things in life. Once a person enters into recovery at a later stage of life, they realize that they spent many years using alcohol or drugs when they could have been working towards their dreams and spending time with the people that they care about. Years or even decades can go by and people don't reach out and ask for help, so the problem just keeps on going. A lot of the time this has contributed directly to the denial that there is even a problem. Many people lose their career as a result of addiction. 1 out of every 6 addicts skip at least 1 day of work each month, if they even work at all. Many people lose their jobs and as a result become homeless when they aren't able to pay their bills on time, not to mention having a destroyed reputation. Addiction affects your mental health. Drugs and alcohol can deteriorate your mental health over the years. In fact, over half of all drug addicts and more than a third of alcoholics have mental disorders on top of their addiction issues. Mental conditions that can happen as a result of addiction are Alzheimer's, dementia, anxiety, cognitive damage, eating disorders, PTSD, schizophrenia, suicide, and trauma. Getting help for addiction can greatly reduce the risk of developing these conditions or even making them worse. Addiction takes away your freedom. During active addiction, you are more likely to make some bad choices and therefore end up in jail or prison. In 2015, there were almost 1.5 million drug-related arrests due to all types of offenses. This especially happens when the drug you are using is illegal. Every day that you go out and get your drug of choice, you are risking jail or prison time. If before you became addicted to drugs or alcohol, you were a religious or spiritual person, addiction can have an impact on the relationship you have with your higher power. Many people feel that they are morally wrong for having a drug addiction, and they can live with guilt, shame, and as a result, it affects the relationship they have with the God of their understanding. Addiction doesn't only suck the life out of you, it sucks the life out of the generations to come. As a result, these children carry the wounds from the abuse and neglect into the next generation when they reach adulthood and have children of their own. Those who grew up with alcoholic parents are 3 times more likely to marry an alcoholic. Also, many children are born into this world addicted or with their growth somehow stunted due to alcohol or drug use. Addiction takes away your future and your dreams. Think of all the things that you wanted to do with your life when you were a young child or a teenager. Once you began to use drugs or alcohol, you probably stopped putting effort into achieving those goals. Maybe you did achieve the goals and aspirations that you wanted, only to lose them as a result of drug or alcohol addiction. If you are ready to get help for your alcohol or drug addiction today, we can help.